at times you think it's a mad job, but I've enjoyed the challenge of it. You know, I think as the season's gone on, I've got more comfortable in the role, and I think I'll improve every day that passes because your experience gets better, you deal with situations in a better manner, and you have a clearer picture of what you want for the future of the club. So. You know, I found the first few months in particular a real whirlwind because I was never expecting to be doing the role. And when the chairman called me in America, I was on holiday and I was thinking I'd be playing another season. So it really put our whole life into a spin. But bit by bit, we've made steady improvement, I think, as the year went on.
And one of the things that the people focused on, Gareth, was of course qualifications or lack of them. You're at Lilleshall at the moment, going through that process. How tough has it been to combine both studying and also being a manager as well?
I've never had any problem with being asked to do the qualifications. I think it's the right thing. The chairman feels that he should be able to appoint whoever he wants to run his football club, and I've been grateful for his backing throughout that because it would have been easy for them to go a different route.
Have you become tougher over the year?
Well, I guess you realise that the decisions you make have to be right, and you've got to be ruthless. You've got to make decisions for the benefit of the whole club, and unfortunately sentiment can't come into those decisions. So you learn from all the experiences that you have, and at times during the season perhaps I was too loyal to people that maybe had lost form or weren't playing so well. But I had a group of players that were giving me absolutely everything, and I think as a manager you can accept a lack of quality at times if people are giving you absolutely maximum effort.
Your first signing, Julio Arca, has proved to be a very wise investment indeed. He's had a terrific season, albeit one or two occasions of course disrupted with injury.
Yes, I mean, I think one of the hardest things for us was that Julio was our only new signing at the start of the season, and he got injured in the first game. And you know, people have said to me since, he couldn't play left back, but you know, he was doing okay for 20 minutes. We were 2-0 up at Reading, and then he broke his foot and played with a broken foot for the last 15 when we got a bit of a run around. So my belief is that good players can play anywhere, and Julio showed that by adapting to a position that he'd never played before and filling it with some aplomb.
One of the key acquisitions possibly has been Jonathan Woodgate. He arrived initially on loan. Did it take much persuading to get him to come along?
I think there's no question that the fact it was his hometown club had a big impact on his decision. I think that, you know, very often when we're trying to bring players to Middlesbrough, our location, the geography of where we are, makes things difficult because players often want to go to London. For Jonathan, I think coming home, having had the experience he'd had in Madrid, was a big factor for him. So he's been fantastic for us. You know, I think the impact he had that first game in particular at Arsenal, where people were saying how's he going to adapt back into the Premier League, and it gave a magnificent display, as good as I've seen from a centre half, and I think you need that stability in your team.
Sad thing was the cup run came to an end against Manchester United. Football is so often full of if-onlys. Look back to the game at the Riverside, and then of course a Cristiano Ronaldo penalty at Old Trafford.
Yeah, I think you would always feel against a side like United that your best chance is in the first game, and with the first game being at home, and having got ourselves ahead, I think we felt quite comfortable in actual fact on the night, and unfortunately George raised his hands and we gave a penalty away, and you sensed then that the tide swung back in United's favour, because at the time we were on a roll, and by the time the replay came round we'd lost a game and were on a little bit flat, but we still went to Old Trafford and gave a great account of ourselves, and I think we upset United that we had the audacity to go there and try and beat them, and I was pleased with that, because I think if our attitude as a club and as a team is that we're little old Middlesbrough and we're here just to make up the numbers, then we're not doing ourselves any justice.
19 goals for the season. How would you assess the contribution of Mark Viduka?
Well, I mean, throughout he was very supportive of what I was trying to do. I think we missed him when he was out with his broken foot for the early part of the season. And then from Christmas onwards, when he came back, he was a real talisman for us, and provided not only the goals but the build-up play, the link-up play. And there were some afternoons where he was almost unplayable for the opposition. So he was a major contributor for us.
And obviously a player you tried desperately hard to retain his services at the football club, but not to be.
No, and that's a regret for me, because I think he enjoyed his football with us. I think we did everything we could as a club to try and keep him. The fact that he was in the latter months of his contract with us obviously was difficult, meant he was able to speak to other people. But I know that there's nothing more from that period of time that we could have done. We made him an excellent offer, and in the end sometimes players feel that they want a new challenge and something different.
So 12th place, 46 points, was that acceptable?
Well, I think that's probably the right phrase. I think acceptable is how we viewed it. Maybe early in the season, when we were 5 points after 7 games, we'd have bitten your hand off for 46 points. Once we got into February, I think we were all thinking, can we hit 50 points plus and have a push for Europe? So we finished where we deserved to. You know, we had a big changeover in personnel, big changeover in the whole club. Lots of young players who played probably more games than ideally you would have liked to. But it's given us a platform to build from. Now, next year won't be any easier, because you look at the teams that finished below us, and there's been huge investment into West Ham and Aston Villa. So Newcastle will always be pushing to try and improve. So we've got a great challenge ahead of us again, but one we're looking forward to.